Hello and welcome back. I am the One-Eyed Crow, and today we're going to talk about the MetaZoo updates for the last week, March 13th through March 20th. But before we begin, I'd like to take a second to ask you to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd also like to take a second to introduce my new logo that I've been working on. I'm not a graphic artist, so it's not the most artistic thing in the world. It's something that I could kind of scrounge together with my limited knowledge of the area, but I'm pretty happy with it. I will also be using this logo on my thumbnails going forward so I don't have to take awkward pictures of myself staring at the camera. Alright, let us begin. We had quite a big release this week. This week on March 15th saw the release of the Topps Wilderness boxes. I personally did not pick up one of these boxes. I like the core MetaZoo for the collecting and the playing aspect. For the Topps ones, I like the look of them. It's probably not something I'm going to try to get a master set, but I might get a few cards for some of the ones that I'm actually really interested in or really like. But I would be interested to see how many of you got a Topps Wilderness box. Also, on March 15th, we got another teaser for the Wilderness theme decks. In this case, we got confirmation that the Forest deck is going to be headed by Paul Bunyan. So this is great because we've had Babe since CN1, and now Babe finally has his companion, Paul Bunyan. On March 16th, we got a look at the Wilderness binder, and the art on the binder features Bigfoot, Cumberland Dragon holding a chibi Cumberland Dragon, Paul Bunyan, a unicorn, Old Man Winter, John Henry, and a Night Marcher. So the art on this is beautiful. If you've seen the other binders, they are really well made. If you haven't seen specifically the ones for MetaZoo, but you have, say, a Vault-X or an Ultra Pro zip binder, they're very similar. It has that nice kind of pleather feel to it. 9 pockets, side loading. So if you're really into the collecting aspect, trying to do the master set, I would recommend these binders. They are great. However, for about half the price of what you're going to pay for them, you could just get a Vault-X binder. The downside being you don't have a clearly marked binder for what's in it. So really, if you want to pay that $30 extra or so to get that, you have a binder that's clearly marked what's in it and has some really nice MetaZoo themed art on it. So to each their own there. Personally, I just go with the Vault-X. I'm going to label them, but I might eventually, once I start getting my master sets completed, splurge for one of the MetaZoo binders to hold my set. Also on March 16th, it wasn't accompanied with an image, but we got confirmation of upcoming dice, deck boxes, counters, and cases. And I imagine that what they're going to do is theme them similar to how they did the playing cards or the binders. I assume we're going to get a Cryptid Nation-based dice set, a Nightfall-based dice set, and a Wilderness-based dice set. And most likely this will become standard parts of, I imagine, the spellbooks coming forward. Another update for March 16th, MetaZoo officially announced their partnership with One Tree Planted. And there's more details to come on that. There wasn't a lot of information about what that exactly means. When will we be donating to One Tree Planted? Their slogan is $1, one tree, one planet, and they are a fundraising group that focuses on planting trees and environmental issues. And my guess with MetaZoo is that there's going to be a percentage of sales that is donated to One Tree Planted going forward. Will that stick around after Wilderness? We'll have to see. On March 17th, we got another drop of the New York City Times Square mock-up. So this had been dropped one time before. It was a different image at that time, and it was quickly removed. Some of us were able to see it. I was not able to screenshot it. That was actually the first time I learned to screenshot basically everything they dropped just in case. And along that lines, the ad has not dropped yet, and they did mention that they will let you know before it actually goes live, so you can be there, and that message was removed. And in the MetaZoo Hour this week, it was mentioned that we could expect the Times Square ad to be around the first week of April. And for the big news this week, they've announced some of the big details of the Dallas tournament in May. To be able to participate in the Dallas tournament, you will have to have participated in at least one prior official physical tournament. So the online tournaments do not count. If you have yet to participate, you still have time. They mentioned that sometime around mid-May is when they're going to stop taking registration. And the best way to find a sanctioned event is to go to play.metazoo.com, go to their Play Network, and try to find a sanctioned event in your area there. You might need to travel a little bit with how new MetaZoo is. It's not very widespread, but hopefully there's something in your area. It's also important to note that in the Play Network, some events might be marked as casual, and these events do not count to get your entry into the tournament. So with this tournament, they're really incentivizing participation. The prize pool is quite amazing this time around. The top 32 players will all get a monetary prize. So if we look at the prize pool at the different tiers, first place is going to leave with $101,000. They're going to leave with their travel expenses covered, a hat and a jersey, a first place promo card, a participation promo card, a first place trophy, and this is huge, a MetaZoo Cryptid Nation Kickstarter box. It's the only tier that leaves with a Kickstarter box. 5 CN1 booster boxes, 10 Nightfall booster boxes, 25 Wilderness booster boxes, 100 Collecticon tournament packs, 50 Collecticon tournament player packs, and 1 egg plush. And I'll get to the tournament packs and the player packs and what's in those in a moment. So not counting the resale value of the tournament packs and the player packs, the first place is really closer to $125,000, $130,000 in value. For second place, we're looking at about half that. We're looking at $50,000. Also, travel expenses covered, another hat and jersey, the second place promo card, a participation promo card, the second place trophy, and for the booster boxes, they'll be getting 5 Cryptid Nation First Edition, 5 Nightfall, 10 Second Edition, and 10 Wilderness. Second place also leaves with 50 Collecticon tournament packs and 25 tournament player packs and an egg plush. For third place, we're looking at $25,000, travel expenses covered, hat and jersey, the third place promo card, the participation promo card, a trophy, 3 CN1 boxes, 5 Nightfall boxes, 10 Cryptid Nation Second Edition boxes, 10 Wilderness boxes, and 25 of each of the tournament packs and an egg plush. For 4th through 8th place, we drop down to $10,000, a top 8 promo card, a participation promo card, 1 each of the CN1 and Nightfall booster boxes, 5 Second Edition boxes, and 5 Wilderness boxes. They'll be leaving with 25 Collecticon tournament packs and 10 tournament player packs and an egg plush. For 9th through 32nd place, so a good portion of the top 32 fall in this range, you're getting $1,000, top 32 promo card, participation promo card, 1 CN2 box, 1 Wilderness box, 10 tournament packs, and 5 tournament player packs, and an egg plush. So for placing in the top 32, you're getting a good portion of your travel expenses covered, even if you say rank 32nd. Another thing that I noticed here is that after 32nd place, you get a participation promo card and 5 of each of the tournament packs and tournament player packs, but not an egg plush. So will that egg plush only be available to the top 32 tournament participants? And if so, that's really a big proponent to the incentivization of getting players to join the tournament. People want to be collecting these plushes. They want to be collecting these tournament packs. I know the Orlando tournament was not a huge turnout. I believe it was somewhere in the 20s range for people that actually ended up playing. So if this was to set up for Orlando, everybody would have been leaving with a monetary prize. So if you're into MetaZoo and you don't think you're that good yet, and you're going to be at the Dallas Collecticon, definitely get into a sanctioned event ahead of time and get registered to play. Worst case, you rank low in the top 32, you still get some money for your time. And even if you rank 33rd or lower, you're still going to get 5 of each tournament packs, which are going to be only given to those who participate in the tournaments. The resale value on those, I imagine, is going to be high, so you still leave with something you could either use and keep for yourself or sell and make some of your money back for going to the tournament. So you might be asking, what's in the tournament packs? And it's been confirmed that the tournament packs will have holo versions of bronze and silver cards with special stamps. And it was confirmed during the MetaZoo Hour this week that the regular tournament packs, the Collecticon packs, if you will have 20 unique cards in them. And for the player tournament packs, there's going to be 25. So I am curious, what cards do you want to see in holo form that haven't been released in holo form yet? For me, I know it already has a reverse holo form. I'd like to see Bunnyman, personally, in a holo form. Really like the Bunnyman. And I know a lot of people hate on Squonk, but he's kind of become a big part of the culture now that it would be really interesting to get a holo Squonk, even if it's just kind of a joke card, you know? But really, I would be interested to see what you guys want to see as holo cards, so leave a comment below saying the cards that you hope will be part of this set. And finally, for the tournament, we don't yet know the format of the tournament. For Orlando, it was a Terra-based tournament where many Terras and many fourth wall effects were in effect immediately during the tournament, and those were pulled from things that meant something to Orlando from the different biomes around Orlando. Could they do the same with Dallas? The Dallas event is going to be in springtime, so that could play into it. It is a city, so the city card could play into that. It's near desert land, so desert, which you're not going to get in other parts of the country. And I think that if they keep with the same format for the Collecticons, there is going to be a diverse set of tarot cards that you can use for each location to make the tournament different each time. And that strategy for each tournament is going to be slightly different based on the starting tarots and fourth wall effects. On March 19th, they dropped a face pic of Hodag, and it was captioned with, "Would this make a pretty nice profile pic?" And I'm going to be honest, I don't know too much about this area. It seems to be related to NFTs. It might have been something that was mentioned before my time with MetaZoo. I've been doing this for about 2 months now, but I couldn't find much information when I did a Google search for it. So please, if you could, point me in the right direction, leave me a comment below telling me really kind of what this means. If there's already been some prior conversations around it, I would like to know more about what they're referencing. Am I supposed to admit that I don't know something? We can edit that in post, right? Okay, cool. And on March 20th, they dropped a look at the MetaZoo Magicast boxes. At the MetaZoo Hour this week, it was asked when the Magicast boxes were going to be available, and the answer was simply next week. And I don't know if that was a reference to are they going to be released next week, but a few days later, they dropped images of the sheet of boxes being printed out, and what I imagine, it was in the same post, is a sheet of the cards that belong in the set printed out. And you can pull a few out there. They're not the art that we've seen before. There's definitely a Mothman in the top right corner of the image, and I apologize for the image quality. It is not that great for what they provided. You can see a Loveland Frogman in the top middle, Bigfoot in the top left. The second row, I believe that's a Jersey Devil, that purple background one. And if you go down to the fourth row, it looks like Dark Watchers on the left there. And bottom middle, I believe, is Wendigo. So these look like there's some early renditions of the art for MetaZoo, but in the Magicast form. And in that image, you can actually see in the background, there's another uncut sheet with different cards on it. So this looks like it could be a sizable set. And we did get another update on the Kickstarter this week. Last week, we discussed that the backer kit was supposed to go out, and it was running late. They decided actually not to pursue backer kit and to just do the survey via Kickstarter. This does mean that they're not going to offer extra add-ons after the fact, which is, from their perspective, what people were complaining about. That, if you do that, the Kickstarter isn't as exclusive as it seems to be because you can add more things after. I do actually agree with that model. Otherwise, what's to stop you from getting it at the last second and then just doing all your add-ons later anyway? And as part of that announcement, they revealed the full promo cards for the Kickstarter for the playing poker cards. So the Cryptid Nation, the Nightfall, and the Wilderness playing poker, which has the characters gathered around a table playing poker together, and the Archcaster and Headcaster Poker Night cards. And these look very similar to the original, if not identical, except for the WPT logo. And for the Archcaster and Headcaster cards, we actually get a look at their ability. For the questions that I pulled from this week's MetaZoo Hour from March 18th, most of those were actually related to the content that was revealed this week, so I just talked about a lot of that as I talked about those topics. There were 2 that were not covered as part of the regular announcements from MetaZoo this week, and one of those updates is it was confirmed that the collected comic book that is going to be coming out this fall will contain the first 6 chapters of the comic. And this is interesting because we know from their website that it says Chapter 7 is coming soon, so are we going to see a second collected book eventually? But then that conflicts with what we were told last week, that the last of the comics was sold, and that's why they're going to be doing the book in the fall. So either the website is wrong and there isn't actually going to be a Chapter 7, or he just meant that the last of the comics for the first book was finally sold, and then that was going to be what led to the first book being released. And if you do enjoy the comics and the world of the comics and what's being portrayed there, if you're into writing fan fiction, it was asked during the MetaZoo Hour about a fan fiction contest. And the answer to that was likely after the book is released, likely in 2023. So if that is your thing, you have about a year to think about what you want to write about, to plan that out and get it going. Well, that's all I have to cover this week. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope to see you for next week's update.